To watch these important lessons, subscribe to DP Education's YouTube channel right now. Click on the bell icon to stay updated on the latest lessons. Sri Lanka's largest free online school, DP Education.
Right, children. In this last chapter, we are going to discuss the questions coming under this lesson, right? So first we are going to discuss the exercise given in the textbook, and after this we are going to discuss some additional questions, okay? So as I told you all before during the previous chapter, before you watch this chapter, you have to answer all the questions by yourself and then watch this one, right? Okay. So select the correct answer. The price of LP gas has been increased. This is a news. As a remedy for this problem, what is the best renewable energy source that can be used by Sri Lankans? The price of LP gas has been increased. So LP gas is used to cook food, right? LP gas is used to cook food. So as a remedy for this problem, what is the best renewable energy source that can be used by Sri Lankans? Which means in order to cook food instead of LP gas, what can we use, children? Here it's given biomass, solar power, wind power, tidal energy. So out of these four energy sources, so all four energy sources are renewable energy sources, right? So out of these four energy sources, which can be used to cook food, children? That is biomass. Simply we can use biomass like firewood, coconut shells to cook food, right? So the low cost is the main importance of using biomass, okay? Right, we will underline this. Because of its low cost, we can use biomass, right? So a non-renewable energy source is an example. Solar power. Solar power is a renewable energy source. Coal is a type of fossil fuel. It is a non-renewable, but we'll go through the other answers too. Energy in flow in water and wind power, they are also renewable energy sources, right? Therefore, a non-renewable energy source is coal. An energy source that does not fall into biomass category is, what is biomass? Biomass means any kind of plant or animal matter that can be used as fuel, okay? Right. So an energy source that does not fall into biomass category. Dry cow dung, oil of castor seeds, geothermal energy, chaff, right? Dry cow dung, oil of castor seeds and chaff come in under biomass, right? But geothermal energy is biomass. It is another type of renewable energy source, right? Right. Number 2. Use the given words or phrases and fill in the chart. Look at this chart given. Here the words given: hydropower, natural gases, solar power, mineral oil, biomass, renewable energy sources, geothermal energy, geothermal heat, nuclear power, and non-renewable energy sources, right? So energy sources. Look at this one. Basically, there are two branches given coming from energy sources. So what are the different types of energy sources? Renewable energy sources and non-renewable energy sources. So those words are given here: non-renewable energy sources and renewable energy sources. To which side we put renewable, to which side we put non-renewable. One example each given in each branch, okay? So here wind power. Wind power is a renewable energy source. Therefore, here in the middle we have to write renewable energy sources, right? Renewable energy sources. So this side should be non-renewable energy sources. Non-renewable energy sources. Right, now around this branch you have to write the examples. Okay, now we will write hydropower. Hydropower is renewable. Okay, here we will write hydropower. Hydropower. Natural gases come in under fossil fuels. So fossil fuels, non-renewable, right? Natural gas here. Natural gas. Right. Solar power also renewable. Solar power. Right. Mineral oil is another fossil fuel which is non-renewable. Mineral oil. Right, the next one, biomass is renewable. Biomass. We use these renewable energy sources and non-renewable energy sources. Geothermal heat, renewable. Geothermal heat. And nuclear power here. Nuclear power. Right, children? So energy sources, two types, renewable and non-renewable energy sources. So renewable energy sources examples, hydropower, solar power, wind power, geothermal heat and biomass. Right? Non-renewable energy sources given natural gas, mineral oil, coal and nuclear power. Right, children? So we have completed the questions given in the textbook. Now we are going to do some extra questions, okay? Right. Exercise number 1. Underline the most suitable answer. Number 1. Not a non-renewable energy source. So non-renewable energy sources are the energy sources that do not reproduce very soon, okay? Coal, biomass, geothermal energy, wind. Right? Biomass, geothermal energy and wind are considered as renewable energy sources, right? Coal is the non-renewable energy source. Coal is a fossil fuel. Number 2. Not an instance where ancient man used wind energy. So what are the instances where ancient man used wind energy, right? To grind grains using windmills, okay? For winnowing paddy, and also transportation using sailing boats, okay? So those were the instances, right? For winnowing paddy, they used wind. For grinding grain using windmills, they still used wind, okay? To generate electricity. Nowadays, we use the wind energy to generate electricity, but the ancient man did not use. For transportation of sailboats, yes, they used. Therefore, answer. Not an instance where ancient man used wind energy is to generate electricity. Right? Number 3. Radioactive elements like uranium and plutonium are used in. So they are used to generate nuclear energy. Right, children? So geothermal power plants, hydropower plants, thermal power plants, nuclear power plants is the answer. Question number 4. Not an instance where energy sources are used sustainably. What is the meaning of sustainable use of energy sources, children? While we are using it, we have to use them thriftily so that the future generations also use them. Right? Number 1. So here, not an instance. Walk or use a bicycle for traveling short distances. This is an instance where energy sources are used sustainably, right? Because what will happen if we used our private vehicles to travel these short distances? We will burn more fuel, right? So this is not an answer. Increasing the use of personal vehicles. So instead of using personal vehicles, so if we all use our personal vehicles, the number of vehicles that burn petrol and diesel will be higher. Right? We have to reduce this number as much as we can. We can switch to use public transport. Okay? So this is not an instance, but we will read the rest too. Use hybrid or electric vehicles. So hybrid or electric vehicles, they use less amount of petrol and diesel or fossil fuels. Okay, use optional energy sources whenever possible, right? Use optional energy sources whenever possible, right? Other than using all these non-renewable energy sources, you can use other optional energy sources using biomass, using wind power, likewise. Okay, so not an instance where energy sources are used sustainably. Answer number 2, increasing the use of personal vehicles. Right, children? Move on to the next. Number 5. An example of biomass. Again, right? Diesel, coal, rice chaff, natural gas. Diesel is coming under fossil fuel. Coal is also coming under fossil fuel. Natural gas, so methane also fossil fuel. Rice chaff is the answer. Right. We move on to the next. Right. Exercise number 2. What are renewable energy sources? So renewable energy sources are the type of energy sources that are reproduced soon. Okay, that are reproduced while we are using them or within a short period of time after using them, right? We will write. What are renewable energy sources? The energy sources that reproduce during use or within a short period of time after use. Right? What are renewable energy sources? The energy sources that reproduce during use or within a short period of time after use. Give 4 examples of renewable energy sources. Now we know many examples. Solar power, wind power, biomass, geothermal energy, you can write energy containing flowing water, right? The examples also there. So give 4 examples of renewable energy sources: solar power, wind power, biomass, geothermal energy are the answers here we wrote, okay? Right, next one. What are non-renewable energy sources? So the opposite of renewable, right? Here, what are the non-renewable energy sources? Non-renewable energy sources are the energy sources that do not reproduce or that takes a long period of time to reproduce after use. Okay, we will write the energy sources that do not reproduce or that take in a long time to reproduce after use. Right? The energy sources that do not reproduce or that take in a long time to reproduce after use are known as non-renewable energy sources, right? Give 4 examples of non-renewable energy sources. So we learn about fossil fuels and nuclear power as non-renewable energy sources. So here's 4 examples should be written. We will write the 3 types of fossil fuels, right? Mineral oil, coal, natural gas. nuclear power. Right, children? Mineral oil, coal, natural gas, nuclear power are examples of non-renewable energy sources, right? We move on to the next. Okay, exercise number 4. Write 2 advantages of solar power as an energy source. So solar power is a renewable energy source. So what are the advantages of using solar power as a renewable energy source? Right, solar power can be used to generate electricity. So when you think about that, what are the advantages, children? It is free of charge. And at the same time, the environmental pollution caused by when we use solar power is minimized, okay, less. Therefore, we will write 2 advantages of solar power. Free of charge. Free of charge. It is free of charge. Minimum environmental pollution. Right? 2 advantages, free of charge, minimum environmental pollution. Question number 2, write 2 disadvantages of using solar power as an energy source. So what are the disadvantages? You all know that in order to fix solar panels to generate electricity, the initial cost is very high, right? And at the same time, if the environment is cloudy, right, if the sky is cloudy, when there is no enough sunlight, the efficiency of these solar panels reduce and the electricity produced also will be less. We can write these 2 as disadvantages, right? The initial cost is high. The initial cost is high when the sky is cloudy. The efficiency of generating electricity reduces. Right, children? Write 2 disadvantages of using solar power as an energy source. The initial cost is high to install, right? When the sky is cloudy, the efficiency of generating electricity reduces, right? Number 5. Write 2 instances where ancient people use the energy contained in wind. Ancient people, they use the wind to grind, in windmills to grind grains, right? And even to sail boats, they use the wind power. Right, children? What else, children? In order for winnowing paddy, to separate good paddy from chaff also, they use wind power, okay? Some people are still using the wind power for winnowing paddy. We will write for winnowing paddy. For grinding grains. Grains in windmills. Right, children? So write 2 instances where ancient people use the energy contained in wind for winnowing paddy, for grinding grains in windmills. Okay? Write 2 advantages of using wind power as an energy source. So when we consider generation of electricity using wind power, what are the advantages, children? You all know we get wind power, right? The energy of wind free of charge. That is free of charge. And the environmental pollution, or specifically air pollution, does not take place, right? We will write these 2. Free of charge. No air pollution. right? Write a disadvantage. Write one disadvantage of using wind power as an energy source. So again, namely consider the generation of electricity using wind power. So we can install these wind power plants only in places where enough wind flow is there, right? So that sufficient amount of wind flow cannot be obtained in all the areas. That is number one, right? And at the same time, even though no air pollution, sound pollution might occur because of wind power plants. Okay, we will write one of them. Sound pollution takes place due to wind power plants, right? Write a disadvantage of using wind power as an energy source. Sound pollution takes place due to wind power plants, right, children? We'll move on to the next. Right, exercise number 6. What is geothermal energy? What is the meaning of geothermal energy? That is the type of energy produced and stored in the inner layers of the earth. Okay, we will write the heat energy or thermal energy. Heat or thermal energy generated and stored in earth. Right, the heat or thermal energy generated and stored in earth is called geothermal energy. Briefly explain how geothermal energy can be used to generate electricity. So how does this happen? So after identifying these areas with geothermal energy, we can simply send pipes with water through these areas, and we can simply send water down. When water goes through these the areas with geothermal energy, water gets heated up and then steam is produced. The steam is pumped out and directed towards a steam turbine. The steam turbine is connected to a dynamo and the dynamo works to generate electricity, right? We will write this briefly. Water is sent to the areas with geothermal energy. This water gets heated up and produces steam. The steam is pumped out to rotate a turbine. The turbine is used to operate a dynamo and to generate electricity. Generate electricity. Right, children? Briefly explain how geothermal energy can be used to generate electricity. Water is sent to the areas with geothermal energy. This is done by drilling the earth, right? This water gets heated up and produces steam. The steam is pumped out to rotate a turbine, right? The turbine is used to operate a dynamo and to generate electricity. Right, children? Okay. Exercise number 7. Write an advantage of geothermal energy. It is free of charge. So by using geothermal energy, we get to use a hidden type of energy. Right? So it is free of charge. But in order to start the process, the initial cost is very high. Okay? It is free of charge. Right, 2 disadvantages of using geothermal energy. As I explained here, the initial cost is very high, and at the same time, when drilling, sometimes hazardous substances, chemical substances could get released to the environment. Okay, that is another disadvantage. Right, 2 disadvantages. Initial cost is high. When drilling, due to drilling, right? Due to drilling, hazardous chemicals be released. Could get released to the environment. Right, children? Write 2 disadvantages of using geothermal energy. Initial cost is high. Due to drilling, hazardous chemicals could get released to the environment. Right? We'll move on to the next. Exercise number 8. Write an instance where ancient people used the energy contained in water. So ancient people used water in water mills. What were water mills, children? In water mills, grains were grinded using the power of water. So there the mill, that machine-like part was connected to a huge water wheel. That water wheel was rotated using water, right? The flow of water. And then what happens when the water wheel rotates, as its axis is connected to the grinder-like part, it made the machine work. And thereby they could grind grains. Okay? So write an instance where ancient people use the energy contained in water. We will write down to grind grains. By turning a water wheel. Right? To grind grains by turning a water wheel. Okay? Number 2. Briefly explain how the energy of flowing water can be used to generate electricity. Now, this is very easy. How do we use the energy of flowing water? Using the energy of flowing water, we can turn a turbine, right? And this turbine can be used to operate a dynamo and thereby to generate electricity, right? Let's write this down. The energy of flowing water is used to turn a turbine the turbine operates a dynamo to generate electricity. Right, children? Briefly explain how the energy of flowing water can be used to generate electricity, right? The energy of flowing water is used to turn a turbine. The turbine operates a dynamo to generate electricity. Right, now we have discussed about this many times, okay? Right, we'll move on to the next. Exercise number 9. What is biomass? What is biomass, children? Biomass means any kind of plant or animal matter that can be used to gain energy, okay? Right, what is biomass? Plant and animal matter, materials that can be used as fuel to generate energy. Right, children? So what is biomass? Plant and animal materials that can be used as fuel to generate energy is called biomass. Right, 3 examples of biomass. Firewood is one widely used type of biomass, right? And we can consider coconut shells, dried leaves, dried cow dung, right? Sawdust, they also come in under biomass, okay? Right. Firewood, sawdust, right? Dried cow dung. They all can be considered as biomass. Coconut shells, right? Number 3. What is the most commonly used biomass in Sri Lanka? So still in a lot of villages, people still use firewood to cook food, right? Firewood is the most widely used biomass in Sri Lanka, right? Firewood. Number 4. Write an advantage of using biomass. Low cost, or it is very cheap, okay? Right, it is cheap. That is the main advantage of using biomass, right? We'll move on to the next. Right. Exercise number 10. What is natural gas? What is natural gas, children? It is a type of a fossil fuel. It is the methane gas that is trapped among the rocks in the crust of the earth, okay? We will write the methane gas trapped among the rocks in the Earth's crust. In the Earth's crust. What is natural gas? The methane gas trapped among the rocks in the Earth's crust. Okay? Right. Number 2. Write 2 advantages of using natural gas as an energy source. What are the uses, advantages, children? It is cheap and it is easy to use. And also compared to the other fossil fuels like coal and mineral oil, environmental pollution caused by this natural gas is minimized. Okay, so those are the advantages. We will write 2 of them. It is cheap, easy to use. Write a disadvantage of natural gas. Even though these advantages are there, the supply is limited, okay? The supply is limited. The supply is limited, right? Exercise number 11. Write 2 examples of radioactive atoms that are used to generate nuclear energy. Right? We'll write examples: uranium, plutonium, right? Thorium is also used, okay? Uranium and plutonium, okay? Write an advantage of using nuclear energy, right? What is the advantage? The main advantage, even a very little amount of these radioactive atoms, a very large amount of energy can be generated, okay? Right. Large amount of energy can be generated using a very little amount of radioactive atoms. So these type of substances that are used to generate nuclear energy is known as radioactive elements. Okay, so radioactive atoms. So write an advantage of using nuclear energy, a large amount of energy. A large amount of energy. We will write here. A large amount. A large amount of energy can be generated using a very little amount of radioactive atoms, right? Write two disadvantages of nuclear energy. Number one, the cost is very high, right? High expenditure. And at the same time, it releases very harmful substances, right? Okay. We will write high expenditure. High expenditure. And to initiate these type of power plants and also to maintain for a very long period of time, the cost is too high, okay? High expenditure and also discharge of hazardous materials. Right, children? Write two disadvantages of nuclear energy. High expenditure to use nuclear energy in power plants, okay? And discharge of hazardous materials, okay, children? We'll move on to the next. State whether true or false. Exercise 12. Number 1. Coal is a renewable energy source. Coal is renewable or non-renewable? Coal is a fossil fuel. All the fossil fuels are non-renewable. It takes millions of years to produce them, right? So coal is a non-renewable energy source. This is false, right? We will simply write F. Artificial satellites are powered by solar panels. That is true. Right. In Hambantota and Putlam, nuclear power plants are located. Hambantota and Putlam, wind power plants are located. In Sri Lanka, there are no nuclear power plants. Therefore, this is false. The hot thermal springs in different areas in Sri Lanka are an example of an instance where geothermal energy is used. That is correct. Because of geothermal energy, the water present above gets heated up, and this is the reason for the presence of hot thermal springs. Okay, that is true. Next one. Fuels produced using plant materials are considered as renewable energy sources. So biofuels are considered as renewable energy sources. We can grow plants again and again. Therefore, plants are considered as renewable. Therefore, fuels produced using plant materials also renewable. That is also true. Right, children? Number 6. The gases emitted during the combustion of coal cause environmental pollution. That is also true. Okay, there are many harmful substances released by burning coal. The gases emitted during the combustion of coal cause environmental pollution. That is true. Number 7. Environmental pollution does not take place due to wind power plants. That is not correct. Due to wind power plants, sound pollution takes place. So, environmental pollution means the combination of sound pollution, land pollution, air pollution and water pollution. So, you can't say no environmental pollution. It happens. Therefore, this is false. Right? There's an unlimited supply of mineral oil in the world. Mineral oil is a type of fossil fuel. So, fossil fuels are not unlimited. That is always limited. So, this is false. Number 9. It causes hazardous conditions if radioactive substances are leaked by accidents. That is true. Okay, it causes hazardous conditions due to radioactive substances. That is true. Right. When the area of a solar heat cooker is increased, the amount of heat that can be obtained from it also increased. This is also true. Do you remember we did an experiment to prove that too? This is also true. Go from the beginning. Coal is a renewable energy source. That is false because it is non-renewable. Artificial satellites are powered by solar panels. That is true. In Hambantota and Putlam, nuclear power plants are located. No, that is false. Sri Lanka does not have any nuclear power plant, right? The hot thermal springs in different areas in Sri Lanka are an example of an instance where geothermal energy is used. That is true. Fuels produced during plant materials are considered as renewable energy sources. That is also correct. Okay? The gases emitted during the combustion of coal cause environmental pollution. That is true. Environmental pollution does not take place due to wind power plants. No, sound pollution takes place. Right? That is false. There's an unlimited supply of mineral oil in the world. No, because that is fossil fuel. Right? It causes hazardous conditions if radioactive substances are leaked by accidents. That is true. When the area of a solar heat cooker is increased, the amount of heat that can be obtained from it also increased. That is also true. We'll move on to the next. Okay, exercise number 13. Mention an advantage and a disadvantage of each of the energy sources given in the following table. Now, we already discussed about the advantages and disadvantages of different sources of energy, right? We'll do this one. Right. We will consider the first one, solar power. What are the advantages of solar power? It is free of charge, it is environmental friendly, right? What are the disadvantages of solar power? Initial cost is high. And when the environment is cloudy, the efficiency of generating electricity is reduced. Okay, we will write one advantage and one disadvantage. Solar power, environmentally friendly. Friendly. Disadvantage, let's write. Initial cost is high. Right. Wind power. Wind power we can write as an advantage, again, no air pollution. It is free of charge. Right. Disadvantage we can write only in certain places the required amount of wind present. Right. And also sound pollution takes place. Okay. So wind power we will write free of charge. As a disadvantage, we will write sound pollution. Right, children? Geothermal energy. Geothermal energy also free of charge. Okay, we will write it is also free of charge. Right, children? What are the disadvantages? Initial cost is very high. and harmful gases are released during drilling of the earth. Okay, right. Initial cost is high. Right. Mineral oil, what are the advantages of mineral oil? Easy to use, easy to handle, right? What are the disadvantages? Limited supply. Environmental pollution takes place, right? Mineral oil advantage. Easy to use. Here we will write limited supply. Limited supply, right? Coal also easy to use, easy to handle, right? We will write easy to handle. Disadvantage, a lot of harmful substances released while burning. Environmental pollution takes place, right? Environmental pollution. Right? So natural gas, what are the advantages? It is cheap and it is easy to use, right? And also environmental friendlier. It is more environmentally friendlier than using mineral oil and coal because less environmental pollution, right? Natural gas, we will write it is cheap. Then disadvantages, limited supply again. Right? Nuclear power, what are the advantages? Large amount of energy can be generated. Okay, disadvantages, very high expenditure and very harmful substances are released. Okay, nuclear power. A large amount of energy can be produced. Right? Disadvantages, high expenditure. Discharge of hazardous materials. Okay? So here source of energy. Solar power, advantage, environmentally friendly. Disadvantage, initial cost is high. Right? Wind power, advantage, free of charge. Disadvantage, sound pollution. Geothermal energy, advantage, free of charge. Disadvantage, initial cost is high. Right? Mineral oil, advantage, easy to use. Disadvantage, limited supply. Right? Coal, advantage, easy to handle. Disadvantage, environmental pollution. Right? Natural gas, advantage, it is cheap. Disadvantage, limited supply. Right? Nuclear power, advantage, a large amount of energy can be produced. Disadvantage, high expenditure. Right, children? Move on to the next. Okay, exercise number 14. This is the last exercise of this lesson, okay? Write 5 strategies for sustainable usage of energy sources. So we learned that sustainable usage of energy sources means using energy sources, especially the non-renewable energy sources, in a way that we use it, but we have to save it for the future generations as well. Right, children? So without wasting them, we have to use them. So what are the different ways that we can do this, children? What are the strategies for sustainable use of energy sources? We learn many examples, right? Instead of using other fuel vehicles, we can use hybrid vehicles or electric vehicles. That is one way, right? Other than using vehicles to travel short distances, then we can just walk that distance or we can use bicycles. It's good for our health too. Right, children? Minimizing the use of plastic, right? A lot of hydrocarbons, a lot of mineral oils are used in producing plastic. Okay, children, like them, we learn many examples. Okay, we will write some of them. Right. Number 1. Walking or using bicycles to travel short distances. Short distances. Right, children? Increasing the use of hybrid and electric vehicles. What else, children? Minimizing the use of private vehicles and switch to use public transport, right? Right. Minimizing the use of private vehicles. Right? Use public transport methods. Right, children? Then we can write minimizing the use of domestic electricity or saving domestic electricity. Minimizing the use wastage of domestic electricity. Right? What else? Right. Minimizing the use of plastic. The use of plastic. Right, children? What else? There are many other things you can write. Okay? So, avoid traffic covers to travel. Okay? Without going in traffic covers, we can use other hours to travel. Likewise. Okay? So, write 5 strategies for sustainable use of energy sources. Walking or using bicycles to travel short distances. Increasing the use of hybrid and electric vehicles. Minimizing the use of private vehicles and use public transport methods, right? Minimizing the use of waste and wastage of domestic electricity. Minimizing the use of plastic, right, children? So we have completed the entire lesson, right, children? So under the lesson, we learn about renewable and non-renewable energy sources, their advantages and disadvantages as well. And also finally, we learn about the sustainable use of energy sources. So we have completed the entire syllabus of grade 7. Now remember, children, most of these things we learn in grade 7, even in grade 6, you are going to learn again in grade 8. So remember, science is a subject that you always have to learn. Okay, children, there's always something new you are going to learn, and at the same time, you are going to learn again and again the same things that you have learned when you are small as well. So I hope you got a better understanding on all the topics that we learned so far.
To watch these important lessons, subscribe to DP Education's YouTube channel right now. Click on the bell icon to stay updated on the latest lessons. Sri Lanka's largest free online school, DP Education.